Salutations, Jones Nation. Welcome back to the show. And today, he is reviewing The Girl in the Spider's Web.
Girl in the Spider's Web.
Now, this is a sequel to Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, correct? Because I did not see...
Yes, this is the fourth book in the three-book trilogy. Originally, it was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Girl Who Played with Fire, Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, and then they came out with this fourth book, The Girl in the Spider's Web. And for whatever reason, Sony went with the fourth book. They made the first book twice, and then made the fourth book. Nice.
All right. Hey. Brainiac's up there. What can we say?
So...
Right. Yeah. What did you think of this movie?
Well, overall, I mean, it was interesting. It was good. If starting with the girl, this is the third iteration. I mean, she's been played by Naomi Rapace in the first book, and the first movie, and then Rooney Mara and the second. And in this movie is played by the girl. The girl Lisette is played by Claire Foy. And as it goes, all three were good, and Claire Foy does a good job of trying to be this character. The reason I say trying is because Sony seems to want to start a series, but they didn't do any character backstory. If this is going to be your first one of the series to see, you're going to be like, why is she like that? How is she that smart? There's no character development. They just assume you've seen one of the other ones and you're going to jump right in. Sony kind of did the trick where they go with trying to hit some kind of formula. We're gonna have a lot of action. It's going to be like the Bourne Identity, and she's going to have more tricks and be more clever than James Bond, but people will remember that she's deeply troubled from other stories. And you're like, wow. I mean, I'm sitting there watching it, and the action is good, and the plot is thin. It's completely action driven, and with a good smattering of art shots. The director really, you see some of those in the trailer, like the girl jumping off the end of a dock onto a frozen lake and just racing ahead of the cracking ice and things like that. So lots of interesting art shots and shot in interesting scenery, but that lacks the depth that they had in the first two versions of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. And it's not as the first two of the characters were really troubled. There was backstory. It was gritty, but it was like, Sony's like, we want this to go to a bigger audience, so let's back it down to a PG-13. Let's not go hard R. I mean, we'll kind of say some things that could be deeply troubling or sexually explicit, but we'll keep it at a nice hard PG-13, where these movies are based on characters that are really kind of should be hard R's. But anyway.
Okay, so if you have seen the first movie, would you recommend those people go see this movie?
Oh, absolutely. If you've seen it, it's fun. You'll recognize the characters. Although the actor is funny, the actor who plays Blomquist in this is much younger than the two previous iterations. And in the American version, they had Daniel Craig of James Bond fame, who was substantially older than the girl. And this movie, the girl and this other character, who really plays no part in the movie, even though he was a big part in the book, is younger. So it seems kind of odd if you know the relationship. You're like, well, he's supposed to be much older and more seasoned than her, but as an action flick, if you've seen the other movies, if you want to go and see an action flick like a Bourne Identity, and just kind of turn your brain down that she's very smart and very clever hacker, but nobody's that good. I mean, she's like a savant there, and she's the righter of wrongs, but she also, just a little side note, take up the patch or chewing some nicotine gum. She smokes the whole time, so much so that I was like, wow, does she carry cartons in her back pocket? How does she have all these cigarettes? I don't know. But anyway, it's a fun movie. It'll hit a certain niche audience.
If you haven't seen the first one, would you recommend seeing this as your entry into the series? Or just go back and watch the first one?
Yeah, you're going to be lost. I mean, at least catch the one with Daniel Craig in it, and Rooney Mara, because that was the American version. The first one, and I watched it, but it was Swedish, and the accents are so thick. To me, I was straining to understand their English the whole time. But anyway.
And would you pay money for this out of pocket?
If you're a hardcore Claire Foy fan or the series, yeah.
So no,
but it's not
that good.
It's not as good as I would have wanted it to be. If they had a little more character development, a little harder R, a little more believability, and it could be fun. There were some fun actors. The supporting cast is good too. But anyway.
Okay. Well, on that note, thank you guys for watching the video. If you enjoyed, drop a like. If you dislike, drop a dislike. And let's have a discussion in the comments. What do you think about this movie? Hey, you want to see it? Don't care to see it? Seen the first one? Haven't seen the first one? Let us know.
And don't forget to follow us on Jones Boys Review on Instagram and Twitter.
That's right. And until the next one, adios, nation.
Peace.